I'm super excited for this video because in this video we are going to bring your brand alive. We are going to create your brand's personality. Let's start. So first off, go to the resources for this video. If you haven't already downloaded the entire template on business branding, go ahead and do that and go to page number 8 where you can see brand personality. You're having a small explanation here, but I'm going to walk you through this step by step on how to create your brand's personality. So let's start. Okay guys, so I do want to start this video off with a little text so you get a better understanding on why it's so important to have your brand personality. Clients may come to you because of what you do, but they stay with you of who you are. So they come to you because of what you do. Maybe you're creating awesome products and services and having an awesome service team, etc. But they stay with you based on who you are. It's just like your friends if you think about it. Maybe you helped a guy or a girl earlier in your life and maybe you see that, hey, we have been friends for like 15 or 20 years. That is because they're staying with you and you are staying with them because of who you are. And it's the same with your brand's personality. So let's have a look at how we can create our brand personality. The first question will be, how do you present yourself? So what is the handshake? How do you say hello to people? How do you present yourself? That is what you would like to think regarding your personality. Maybe you're creating a personal brand or maybe you're having more like a business brand. So how do you say hello? So how would you say hello to people you're meeting? Like hello or hi mate, how you doing? How do you present yourself? Think about that. And then we're having how do you dress? Maybe you are a yoga instructor, maybe you are like a casual dressed kind of guy or woman, or maybe you're like a suit with a tie. How do you dress? That is also a trait in your personality. How you present yourself to other people. Are you stiff? Are you humoristic in your dressing? Are you sporty? What describes your dress? And then how do you behave around people? This is also one thing. Are you funny, humoristic? Are you more stiff? Are you more fact-based? Are you more educational when it comes to what you're talking about, etc.? But also, how do you behave? How does other people think about you when they see you for the first time? You can actually go ahead and just ask your family members, how would you describe me? If you met me for the first time, how would you describe me? You can talk to your colleagues at your work, you can talk to your classmates, you can talk to your friends. Just ask them on how they are seeing you, because how people are seeing you, if you're creating a personal brand, that is 100% your personality. But if you're creating more like a business brand, you do want to keep like consistency over the next years to come with your brand on your social media platforms, on your brand messaging, in your marketing, etc., then it's good for you to understand on how you present yourself and how other people see that you're dressing up, and also how you behave around other people, because it's easier for you to create your brand's personality because it actually mirrors what you are and who you are as well. You can also, of course, create one brand personality that is completely different from you, but it's easier to find different traits that makes you you, if you know what I mean. So let's have a look at the brand personality guide. Now there are 5 different types of personalities more or less that you can have. You can Google and you will see 12 different and so on, but this is the most common one. So first of all would be sincerity. So are your brand, or are you creating a brand that is more down to earth, more honest, more wholesome, more cheerful? Then let's have a look at different types of examples so that you can really relate to these words. For example, Disney, Hallmark, and Amazon. So Amazon is very truthful to their customers. They always would like to improve. They are honest with their feedback that they are receiving from the customers. And Disney, they're very cheerful and happy and magical and stuff like that. So if you can relate to these traits when it comes to personalities, then you should more or less have a look more into a depth with sincerity to really find your brand personality. Next up would be excitement. Are your brand personality exciting? So daring, spirited, imaginative, up to date. What kind of companies do you think about when you see this? Daring, spirited, imaginative, and up to date. Always exciting. Here are some examples. Tesla, Red Bull, and Nike. Nike is a more daring, aggressive kind of brand person, or are having a more aggressive kind of brand personality. Just do it, you can do it, come on, let's do it, etc. And then Tesla also, they're very daring. I mean, they went into a market to create an entire own category or market with the electrical sports cars. And then Red Bull, they are very daring and spirited. I mean, they are doing all kinds of extreme sports and so on. So if you're having a brand that is aligned with these kind of personal traits, then you should dive into more an excitement brand personality. Then we have competence. So are you reliable? Are you intelligent? Are you successful and hardworking? Let's have a look at different types of examples here as well. We have Google, Volvo, and we're having Microsoft. Reliable, I think about Volvo. Volvo is a Swedish car company, and if you're buying into their cars, you will see that they're very reliable when it comes to car crashes and security. And then intelligence, I mean, Google, hey, I mean, they revolutionized the entire internet with creating an automated system for web searches, which is incredible. And then hardworking, Microsoft. If you look at Bill Gates' first 10 years, I think, before he really went into business, he worked hard with coding. I mean, he created Microsoft and he worked very hard with his companions on creating Microsoft. So if these personal traits such as reliable, intelligent, successful, and hardworking is something that you do want to speak to your customers, that you can relate to your brand's personality, then you do want to dive into the competence section a little bit more. And then we're having sophistication, like upper class, you're having charming, you're having glamorous, and you're having feminine. So what kinds of brands do you associate this with? Let's have a look. So Rolex making this very expensive watches, and I'm not sure if they're creating other stuff, but I'm thinking about a very expensive watch, like $10,000 plus. And then we're having Gucci, very expensive upper class clothing brand. And then we're having the Apple, which is a very expensive and also upper class brand, I would say, because you can buy their iPhones for, I mean, what is it? €1,000 minimum these days, or $1,000 minimum these days, and the computers are very expensive and so on. So if you are more like creating or having a thought, or maybe you already are having your products and services and you do want to put them up a little bit more in the luxurious category, then you should dive into this niche and find out on how you can create your brand personality based on these different like traits. Are you more upper class, more charming, and more glamorous, and more feminine? Then this is the way for you to go. Then we have the fifth and the last one, which would be ruggedness. With other words, outdoorsy, more like tough, masculine, and more westernized. Let's have a look at different types of brands here as well. We are having Harley Davidson, ruggedness, tough, like very masculine brand. Like if you are buying a motorbike and you do want to be masculine with maybe a leather vest, then you do want to buy your Harley Davidson, right? So that is what you associate Harley Davidson, like tough and masculine. And then we're having Jeep, which is a little bit more outdoorsy. You know, these Jeep cars where you can drive into safaris and you can drive into nature. So they are speaking a little bit more like ruggedness personality here. And then Timberland, of course, Timberland shoes, I always associate that with outdoorsy. I am having a pair of Timberlands myself, and anytime here in Sweden or in other countries where it's very cold, you do want to put on your Timbs, right? So this is the brand personality guide. Is very good if you go through this one by one and see if you can find your type of brand personality in here. Whether you would like to associate your brand with yourself, if you're creating a personal brand, or if you're creating a business brand. This is very good guidelines. Also, go back to the last video to understand a little bit more if you completely are feeling a little bit lost, or you can ask in the Q&A section of this video if you're having more questions when it comes to defining your brand personality. But basically, sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. If these are hard words for you, you have a small explanation just beneath everyone here, and you also are having examples on different businesses that you may or may not relate to. So if you're having a connection with your brand, with other brands, then you know what kind of category and how you should pivot your brand personality. Good luck with defining your brand personality. I'll see you in the next video.